Hello and welcome to Talkin' Baseball. We've got some historic player performances, some new powers in the American League. Let's hear it, Coach Trev. Let's talk ball. Woo! Noah Cameron.
Ooh, I'm striking out.
Yeah. New fresh blood. Hello. And welcome to Talkin' Baseball, presented to you by SeatGeek, code TALKIN2025. Jake Storielli in New York City. Trevor Plouffe in L.A. Let him know. Rob Sirocco's here. Baseball season, it's gonna be May. We're here, Coach. We did it. We're more than
do that.
We're more. Nobody wants that.
Nobody wants that. Meme is out.
Nobody wants that. I do. JT's really been working on his image since the situation last year. See him all over socials. Anyways, Trev, we got some teams killing it. How about the Royals? The American League. There's going to be some Mariners, Tigers. We're going to get to all of it. We're going to talk about your team. You know him better than us. Maybe not better than Trevor Plouffe, though, former Major League third baseman.
I don't know how to follow that. Okay. I'm ready to yuck some ball. A lot of good things have happened. Yeah. Shout out the Royals. Kind of like sneaky under the radar streak going on up there. And yes, no more it's going to be May thing. I'm actually, JT is kind of on my shit list. I did not get invited back to the golf tournament in Vegas that just
happened. My God. That's where I just saw that on the gram.
Yeah.
You didn't get the Whoa.
Well, technically, I wasn't invited last year either. I just went with staff, but
I got you.
Yeah, I was like hoping my performance there was like gonna garner an invite this year. It didn't.
Well, that's funny. People are gonna poke some holes at this one. I follow Michelle Wee on Instagram.
Great, she's awesome.
Same exact birthday as me, October 11th, 89. Know who else has that? I found out. Tomoyuki Sugano. Same exact age as me. Same life.
I feel like he's older than me and he's not. That's tough for me.
Yeah, that's tough. Yeah. You're in that window. I'll be in soon. We're going to talk less LPGA. Well, that's coming up later in the show. We're going to get through the games that were this week. Some players more than a month in, I always chop it up in a weird way. We're more 1/6 of the season is done. If you think of it that way. Pretty crazy,
more than 1/6,
right?
Jake.
Right? So, if your team was awful, say the Twins, that's going to be tough to get yourself out of that. Congrats to Bucks and 100 steals. But it is Friday. Let's do some National League Baseball. And why don't we stay in the big city? And I'm sorry to my Mets fans. Well, yeah, you got the best record in baseball, and Soto hit 2 ding-dongs yesterday. But they lose a series after coming in, winning that first game. They end up losing the next 2. D-backs come from behind fashion in game 2 late, and then they hold off on the Soto game in game 3. Zach Gallen. Hear more about him in a little bit. The Cubbies take 2 out of 3 from the Pirates, and you're like, okay, hey, the Pirates won that second game, and it's Skeens Day. 3 homers in 1 inning against Paul Skenes. Not going to see that a lot. That's baseball, isn't it, Susan? Cubbies continue to roll. Phillies, they take 2 out of 3 from the Nationals. This first game, back and forth, the Phillies bullpen blows it. They come back and win it late. Schwarber, Real Muto, and Kepler, oh my, in game 2. Good Lord. Brad Lord and the boys salvage it. Phillies take 2 out of 3. Padres, they take 2 games from the Giants. Sorry about it. Logan Webb versus full pension Piv. Sign me up. Padres take both at home. Xander Bogaerts, how's your first homer of the year? Good for you, kid. Giants, first scuffle of the year. Braves take 2 out of 3 from the Rockies. They can't get the sweep. Sale gave them a great start, but Chase Dollander and the Rockies bullpen outdo it. There was a lot of Austin Riley in this series. Braves continue to get back to their winning ways. And a team that is kind of always winning, the Los Angeles Dodgers, they sweep the Marlins. I don't know what you want to hear. Teoscar's driving in everyone. Shohei gets his dad home run. And Max Muncy, speaking of first homers, he gets on the board. Dodgers take all 3. That's what happened in the National League.
A quick one, and I want to remind you, Jake, that I am the standings guy, so don't talk about the Mets having the best record in
I'm
baseball
sorry.
because they don't.
That's a spoiler. Teaser.
The second best record in baseball belongs to the Mets. We'll start out East 21-11 for the Metropolitans. We're 3.5 games above the Philadelphia Phillies, 17-14 for them. Atlanta, 2 games under 500, 14-16. The Nats, 14-18, and Miami, 12-18. In the Central, Jake, Craig Counsell's Chicago
Oh,
Cubs have a 2-game lead over the Reds. They're 19-13. The Reds 17-15. Let's go, Reds.
a little
On
bit.
Gavin Lux. Milwaukee sits right at 500, 16-16. Pat Murphy is authoritative,
Yeah.
to say the least. We'll talk about that. The Cardinals 14-18, and the Pittsburgh Pirates 12-20. The team with the best record in baseball, the Los Angeles Dodgers, at 21-10. 1.5 games above the Padres, who are sitting at 19-11. The Giants 19-13 after getting swept by the Pods in the 2-game set. And your Snakes 17-14, while the Rockies, oh my goodness, they are 6-25. They just beat Chris Sale, though.
Yeah.
Snaps for them. Those are the standings in the National League, Jake.
Thank you, Trev. Sorry, Mets. Sorry, Dodgers. I guess I was thinking best run differential.
Oh.
Rockies 2-game win streak. Watch out. That whole National League was brought to you by our friends at the DraftKings Sportsbook. Make sure you guys head on over to DraftKings. The baseball marathon is underway, and at DraftKings, you can get involved on all of it. New customers who bet $5 will get $200 in bonus bets when you use code JAMBaseball. So every game, you got same game parlays, odds boost, homa bets. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. New customers use code JAMBaseball. Bet just $5 on any wager and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. That's code JAMBaseball only at DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. I've been on a little bit of a heater. Bet a couple pitches. Did well on the Knicks game last night. Anyways, Coach Trev, let's start off with the D-backs and the Mets. The Mets, who had the best record in baseball. Excuse me. Sorry for 2 D-backs. Nice wins to finish the series. A lot of Geraldo Perdomo. That contract is already looking incredible. He's added a little A-swing to his reputation, which ended up being impactful in that second game. D-backs had sneakily been scuffling a little bit. I think they had 1 win in 6 games there. They end up turning it around, winning this series. They've struggled at Citi Field. And their bullpen had been hurting them a lot, and I think that's something you want to mention, that they helped save them in the series.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great series for Arizona. Obviously, yes, Justin Martinez with some arm, shoulder fatigue goes on the IL. They push AJ Puck to the 60-day IL. So those are coming into the season, their 2 top bullpen arms now on the shelf. Some Mets Citi Field stats. They lost back-to-back games there for the first time since July of 2024.
Whoa.
They hadn't lost a series at home since August 13th through the 15th. So Mets have been playing really good at home. So really nice series for Arizona. And, they needed these guys to step up, with the injuries to Justin Martinez. Game 2, he comes in there, just has an awful outing, gives up a homer, walks 2 guys, and then has to be pulled from the game. We don't know what's going on with the shoulder. Something's happened there. It's just not good. But Ryan Thompson comes in and absolutely gets the job done. He actually hits Pete to load the bases, but then he strikes out Vientos, gets Winker to ground out. That gets it to 4-3. Runners on second and third. Francisco Alvarez comes up after he intentionally walks McNeil to load the bases, and he gets the ground out. A 5-3 ground out to end the game. So Ryan Thompson comes in, does the job in place of a Justin Martinez, and then Ginks has a really nice outing in game 3 as well. So, the Diamondbacks, they find ways to win games. The back end of the bullpen gets hurt, but guys step up and, end up taking 2 or 3 from really, obviously, a Mets team that's been playing really, really well. I think it's a big series for the Diamondbacks.
Yeah, this almost feels like an inverted D-back series. There's been all these series that it looked like they were going to win, that their bullpen or, the other team deserves credit at a certain point. And their bullpen kind of saves us here, that we could have been talking about a Mets sweep. Shelby Miller getting saves in the year of Brad Lord. They survived the Soto 2-homer day. They get their first Corbin Burns win. Zach Gallen shoves. I think the Snakes needed that because they're somehow a fourth place team. I know we're not really doing that yet, but I think we're going to have to in that National League West that, I don't know. You just don't want that funk. There's a feeling. And I guess if your team is struggling to hit right now, Texas Rangers, we'll talk about you in a little bit. In baseball, there's just like a looming cloud sometimes. If you're struggling to get series wins, and it feels like it's always happening the same way, I think the D-backs getting this one over a really good team in a place they've struggled historically. Some of the 8-23 at Citi Field, crazy. So I think this was huge for them, and I think Mets fans, I think they're excited to see Soto hit kind of his signature left center field home run twice in one game. And I don't think this should affect how they feel about this team at all.
Yeah, Shelby Miller for the Diamondbacks, he actually signed a minor league deal, made the team out of spring training. He's been pitching great out of the bullpen for them. So shout out to Miller. And then Soto, yeah, he had some quotes about not feeling pressure at all in New York. And, I tend to agree. It's early on in the season. They had the second best record in baseball. He had a 770 OPS in April. The guy is going to have his numbers end up in the 900s. That's what's going to happen with Juan Soto. There is no pressure on him, especially because the guys around him are performing so well. The only pressure that Juan Soto is going to feel is if he has a 770 OPS the entire season and the Mets miss the playoffs. I don't think that's going to happen. One of those the Mets could miss the playoffs, which would be crazy, but I don't think Juan Soto's going to have a 770 OPS this year. And I am pretty certain after the way they played in April that they're going to have a good chance to make the playoffs. So the Mets are all right. Soto's
worst month is traditionally April, and I think getting those 2 homers to start May, you might look at Juan Soto's month this year, and it's one dot. I would bet is inbound. Trev, in the rest of the National League, I'm a lot of players that I feel like deserve some love. I didn't know what my guy Jose Trevino was doing for the Cincinnati Reds. He's knocking around the ballpark. It's tough for me. 4-game series split between the Cardinals and the Reds. It is interesting seeing the Cardinals' record and they're 1 game off from the Diamondbacks. Some other teams that have been doing really well this season, and it feels like we haven't had the Cardinals lumped up in that. They end up splitting this series. A nice 9th inning by St. Louis to secure the game and win in the second one. Mason Wynn 2-homer game. What notes do you have?
I think you're talking about the Reds being close to the Diamondbacks, not the Cardinals. No. Yeah. No, I mean, look, nice all-around game from the Reds in game 1. Nick Martinez had a great start. Trevino, that was a good series for Trevino. He had a nice defensive play on a bunt from Mason Wynn in game 1, also homered there. The Reds overall have been playing better defense than last year. I believe they're 12th in defensive runs saved right now. Even though Ellie's had 7 errors, he leads the big leagues. It's going to happen with him, but he's going to make spectacular plays as well. So I don't know. I guess you kind of live with that. For me, I'd rather just have more consistency, but the Reds overall have been playing better. And then the Cardinals, they scored late to put the game away in game 2, 3 homers in the 9th. And they scored early to put it away in game 3, that doubleheader. They took both of those. It was 9-0 in the 3rd there. And then for game 4, I mean, the Reds bullpen has been really, really good for them. So splitting the series, bookend games. Reds are one of those teams, man. They have some guys going on. Noelvi Marte looks like the real deal. Gavin Lux has been playing well. We know they have the starting pitching to get it done. Now the bullpen's kind of catching on as well. And if they are a team that's going to be in it and fighting for the NL Central, I'll tell you what, I'll be stoked. We've been wanting this to happen. They look pretty good right now, Jake.
If you look at their team stats, I mean, the offense has been top 10, top 5, 5th in runs scored. I know that's a little old school. Their starting rotation has been great. 8th in ERA. They've got it like a big 3 there. What Emilio Pagan has done on the back end there, a contract that looked kind of if the Reds, unfortunately the Reds after last season, they broke me a little bit. they're going to have to earn it a little more. Again, the Brewers since the opening weekend have been a pretty damn good team. The Cubs have looked fantastic. I think what's going to be interesting, Trey, is we haven't even, in this packed NL, we haven't even fathomed if a team like the Reds get involved. And like, what if they have a massive month and now we've got to knock potentially another team out of the NL. I don't know. Like if the Reds can live up to this billing, because they're showing it in every facet of the game, the National League just hit another level of brutal that we didn't even think about.
I was talking to C. Rosie about it. What do you think the last NL playoff team, what the record would be? Like, how many wins do you think it's going to take?
I mean,
it's got to be like in the 90s, right? There's going to be no 80-win teams making the playoffs in the NL.
I would say 90s your safe bet, which is crazy. Like this whole expanded wild card, we're like, oh, are we going to be letting 83-win teams in? And well, American League, we're going to have some conversations. But the National League is kind of the dream right now.
Yeah. Or the nightmare, depending on what team you root for.
Yeah. And hey, Cardinals fans, as you're hearing this and the record starts getting a little not pleasant, that was supposed to be the plan this year. And there's some talented guys on that team that with the right trade and a soft trade market, you can make something out of this year. I know that you might not want to hear that yet, but I think it's the truth of it.
Shout out Lars Nootbaar.
Right?
By the way.
Like if that guy keeps playing like this till the trade deadline, Brendan Donovan, like these are guys that have been rumored in trades for years and now their value is actually peaking at a trade deadline that has felt empty in past years. Like this could end up working out well.
Why do I feel like Lars Nootbaar has much more time than he does?
It's weird, right? I know he's got like years left, but yeah, it's because
this is his first year of arbitration this year.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, I don't know. Yeah. I mean, yeah, you can trade him and he'll demand a pretty penny if he continues like this and he's cost controlled. Okay. Or keep him and be good. How about that?
Not this year. We'll have time to talk about
okay.
that. Because I think the Cubs are really good. They win another series.
Prime time. Yeah, prime time.
Hey, man. Look what's going. Well, Boston actually. Anyways, Cubs take 2 out of 3 from the Pirates. Unfortunately, dude, I got sad again when you said the Pirates' actual record because 12-20. What? The Cubs continue to rake. I think you're talking about say later. They get 3 off Skeens. I don't have too much in the series. Obviously, we had the scary moment with the fan who fell out of the stands, and we're waiting for updates on that. I don't have too much else on this series.
Sure. Cubs are really good.
Yeah.
Man. The 3 homers off Skeens, he just was kind of middle. It was interesting though because Seiya, who I'll talk about later, took a 3-0 splitter out. And I don't know what Skeens was kind of thinking there. Maybe he thought, hey, he's going to jump my fastball, so I'm going to throw this splitter. And Seiya was like, I've seen those a lot, by the way, back in the day. And raked it. I don't know. Cubs are good. Pirates, not so good.
Cubs finished April with a franchise record 6 players hitting 5 or more home runs. Good. Go Cubs, go. Get into Skenis. Phillies take 2 out of 3 from the Nationals. I mentioned that scary first game. I got involved in it. I saw Jolly being like the Phillies bullpen is hitting levels of very scary. They end up coming back and winning that game in the bottom of the inning. They mashed their way in the second game. And yeah, this was the one I screwed the pooch before. Excuse me. 17-14 Phillies going back to the Reds who are 17-15. Like, we've been like, yeah, Phillies have kept the course. They look really good. It's interesting seeing where the Cubs are in comparison to that. But what'd you see here?
Phillies have some question marks, man. They do need to figure out that bullpen. It's been tough. Alvarado's pitched well. Strom has pitched well for the most part, but pretty much everybody else has struggled. They were lucky to get that first game, or else they're looking at a series loss here. They're also, I think, going to start doing some platooning stuff in the outfield. Weston Wilson, Max Kepler, Brandon Marsh, and Rojas. They're going to try to figure some stuff out there to get some better offensive platoon splits. Phillies, to me, feel, and this was a comparison that Buster Olney actually made, and I referenced this with Chris the other day. He's like, this is a Dave Dombrowski team, and it sure looks like a Dave Dombrowski team.
Yeah.
Kind of like an older slugging team, doesn't play defense particularly well. The bullpen's kind of been blown up. You remember the Tigers from back in the day when they had Scherzer and Anibal Sanchez and Justin Verlander and Miggy and Victor Martinez. Like they had everything except the bullpen and the defense, and that's kind of what the Phillies look like right now. So they need to figure that out like quickly, because we're talking about a 90-win team might not make the playoffs this year. And we always talk about the Phillies cakewalking through the season. Hey, we'll just get ready for the postseason. You can't do that this year in the National League.
No.
So you better go get the bullpen figured out sooner than later. You can't wait around.
And yeah, something they went through last year that they're going to be doing again. It looks like Ranger Suarez is expected to pitch Sunday, which means Taijuan Walker would be the odd man out.
He's been great.
He gives a really good start. He has a really athletic play to start the game. What are you, tri-tip guys? Is that what you guys like to grill?
He grills, but it's me and JP Crawford and Dallas Braden are tri-tip guys. I make the best one. There's no doubt in my mind.
Yeah.
But Taiwan's just more of like a traditional ribeye guy.
Be an athlete, big fella.
He is an athlete. Love those jerseys. Oh my god.
Literally an athlete. A pitcher getting some dirt on him. More of that. Padres take 2 from the Giants. 2 of the best teams in baseball up until this point. Padres snap a 4-game losing streak coming in, so they just kind of had their skid. The Giants, I know this game in theory hasn't happened yet in our world. They just lost last night to the Rockies to make it a 3-game loser for them. Bogarts gets his first home run in the year. We just passed the kind of getting weird area for that. Luis Ariz and Jason Hayward come back. Maybe that's more important here. And the Padres, first time they've won consecutive games in over 2 weeks. So it's funny that their record has still looked so incredible. The baseball funk always finds you, and it looks like they're finding their way out of it.
They're finding their way. They're such a fun team to watch, and to be able to get to Logan Webb early like they did, and they can kind of like continue the scoring. Fernando Tatis Jr. looks like a freaking animal out there, dude. He's so good. I think the Padres, to me, are probably minus the Dodgers. I don't know. I think the Padres are like the scariest team in the National League. I do. Like the Dodgers just seem like, yeah, they're inevitable. They're going to get healthy. They're going to do all these things, and they haven't even played good baseball. If you ask like a Dodger fan, have the Dodgers played good baseball? They'll say no. Right. They still have the best record in baseball. But the Padres, to me, in a 3-game, 5-game set, 7-game set, whatever they have to play, they're scary, man. Like they can kind of just do it all. And that bullpen, the way they can be deployed is awesome. So they can shorten games. They have the superstars. They have the speed. They've been doing this without Jackson Merrill too. Like it's they're just such a fun team to watch, dude.
Both Padres and Dodgers both have big 3-series road trips coming up. Dodgers have Atlanta, Miami, and Arizona all on the road, while the Padres have Pittsburgh, the Yanks, and Colorado. So a little easier for the fathers, but yeah, getting a rise back is obviously huge, and hopefully that Hayward platoon can work out for them. I think it's the bullpen is the secret, Trev. It's just they have a formula again that if they can get a lead, I mean, their bullpen has a bullpen. Like
yeah.
if you're one of those teams out there that's still struggling to figure out your 8th, 9th inning, they've got like. Yeah, I mean they went Suarez, Adam, Estrada, Morejon back-to-back nights. Hold, safe. Like that's it. That's it. That's pretty nice to have. And that's before you get to Fernando. Anything on your Dodgers? I bet the Shohei homer, and I was happy about it. That's where I'm at.
I was there in attendance to see the Shohei homer. First pitch, so that one cashed really easily for you.
Yeah,
attaboy.
Pretty cool, right?
The Dodgers are so good. I don't know, man. Dealing with so many injuries. Obviously, they know they kind of had that planned in their offseason moves. They have a ton of pitching depth. It's obviously getting tested right now. Shout out Marlins for trying to make it happen. Game 1,
Really?
Dreyer comes. Not Dreyer. Who is it? Who came up? Or is it Dreyer?
I think it was, right?
Dreyer comes up, pinch hit, gets him back in the game. Then, I don't know. The Dodgers are so good. Tommy Edman comes in and does a thing, and then they run away with the games the next 2. Like they have that potential offensively. I mean, they scored how many runs in this series? They scored 34 runs in 3 games.
Yeah. We got.
They can just bury you offensively.
We got Kike pitching in a batting helmet. I mean, they're
I
in their
left
own
before
world.
that happened. The Marlins brought in a position player, and I said, I'm out. I'm beating the traffic. We left. Then Kike came in and did his thing. And is it good for baseball? I don't think so. But hey, man, that's me.
Maybe what is of note for baseball fans, Tony Gonsolin. How's your Catterday back on the bump? And he got a ton of whiffs, his most since 2022. What's that face?
I said Dryer. It was Dane Myers. I'm sorry.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that's just Jack Dryer is a pitcher for the Dodgers. Sorry.
Oh, that's who I thought you were talking about. Okay.
No, Dane Myers, pinch hit grand slam, tie the game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go Marlins, go. What a squad. Why don't we do some American League baseball?
Let's do it.
I don't know. I think Dalton did this for you. We'll start with the Twins and Guardians. And these Twins have figured out Eddie Julien, a leadoff home run. 4 straight wins. The Twins are back. They lose the next 3. Guardians go and get them. Jose Ramirez, I mentioned some history. The first ever third baseman with 250 homers and 250 steals. Just insane. Second switch hitter, Beltran. We'll talk about him a little bit. Hey, my Texas Rangers. I said maybe the bats will come alive last week in Sacto. No, maybe this week. We held a meeting and we scored 15. Problem is, the other 3 games, we didn't score more than 1 run. The A's take 3 out of 4. Jeffrey Springs with his first good start of the year. Jake Berger sent down. Jacob Wilson and Andujar are hitting. Watch out for the A's and Trevor Plouffe's standings coming up after this. Kansas City Royals. They sweep the Tampa Bay Rays. 2 kind of similar teams here, but it feels almost like a bad matchup for the Rays because I think the Royals are a little better at their pitching, their defense, and their star player, Bobby Witt. We're going to talk more about them in a second. Tigers and the Houston Astros teed it up. The Hinch Bowl. Astros take the first 2. Jack Flaherty's lost 3 in a row. Christian Walker was a problem in this series, and they're about to sweep. But unfortunately, Javi Baez is back. Grand slam. Center fielder Javi Baez robbing home runs. Insane what's happening with that gentleman. Houston wins another series. They're playing pretty good ball. The Orioles, boy, did they need a series win, and they got it against the New York Yankees. They win the bread games, 2 one-run games. Right now, the Yankees have a Will Warren and Carlos Carrasco problem a little bit, trying to get through their rotation. A little dust-up in the last game. Heston Kjerstad, yes. Go check out the breakdown. It's a really good one. And good for the Orioles. Second series win on the year. The Red Sox, it feels like they're rolling. Crochet, they put up a 10 spot in that first game. 3-game winner. They're about to make it 4. Blue Jays late. Santander, boy, did he need a big home run. And then they do it again the next day. They get a couple on the Red Sox bullpen to win the games and win the series. Toronto leaves Boston fans feeling the ick. Mariners, they win 2 against the Angels. It's a 2-game set, but they keep hitting, man. Jorge Polanco, your all JM DH. Insanity what he is doing. And then they come back. They put up some crooked numbers behind Cal, Julio, and JP in that second one. And the Brewers, they take 2 out of 3 from the White Sox with a chance to sweep on that final day. Unfortunately, they got the business from Sean Burke. Luis Robert, 4 RBI game. Great catch at the wall. Again, Milwaukee won the first 2 games. Freddie P. Isaac Collins hitting 2-hole for them and hitting homers. Sure, kid. Why not? Jake Bowers with a big hit off lefties. I just need to get to the standings. That's what happened in the American.
Bob, I got the standings for you. I'm going to start out east with your Yanks. Yes, they're in first place at 18-13, 2 games above the Boston Red Sox, who are 1 game over 500 at 17-16. Toronto kind of creeping up. Okay. 15-16 for them. 3 games back of the Yanks. Tampa Bay, 14-17. Baltimore, 12-18. In the Central, the Tigers, man, third best record in baseball, 20-12 for them. 1.5 games over the Cleveland Guardians, who just find ways to win freaking baseball games. They're 18-13. Kansas City Royals 17-15. My Twins 13-19. Things were looking good till they weren't. The Chicago White Sox 8-23. Out west, my Mariners. Jay, you know I'm a Seattle guy.
Really?
I'm a Pike Place Market guy.
Interesting.
Beautiful flowers there. Everyone thinks of the fish, but the flowers are really, really nice. 18-12 for the Mariners, 2 games above the Houston Astros, who are sitting at 16-14. The A's 17-15. Okay. Rangers 16-16, and the Angels are 12-18 after their fast start. Those are the standings in the American League.
Trev, the Central's got a bit of juice to it. And I'm going to start off with a team who's got a little bit of juice, and they are this week's Best Western Road Warriors. Life's a trip. Make the most of it at Best Western. It's the Kansas City Royals. What if I told you the Royals have won 9 out of their last 10? They swept the Tampa Bay Rays. The rotation is leading the MLB in innings pitched, 3rd in ERA, and Bobby Witt Jr. 22-game hit streak, tied with Brian McRae in 91. God, I liked watching him play. 6th longest hit streak in Royals history, 31 games by Whit Merrifield's the record. These Royals are back in this season. And hey, you can get back into it with Best Western. Go on the road and see these guys play. Life's a trip, so why not make the most of it? Best Western, we've had an awesome year with them. We did our Chicago event. Jolly is doing a lot of fun stuff with them. The We Got Ice Boys. Stay tuned. Best Western's going to be with us all year, and they can be with you too. Whatever summer trip you got coming up, whatever baseball plans you got coming up, go check out Best Western. Whatever the road or life has to offer you, there's probably a Best Western around you because I think there's 4,000 of them. Real number. That wasn't just Jake math. Life's a trip. Make the most of it at bestwestern.com. Trev, have the Royals changed your mind about anything, or is it just kind of like, well, we did expect this version of them. It's just clicking now?
Well, I mean, you kind of hit it there with the pitching, the starting pitching. 3 runs or fewer in 26 of 32 games. I mean, that's the kind of ball they're going to have to play. The offense isn't always going to pick them up, and it really hasn't this year. Bobby Witt obviously doing his thing, but other than that, there hasn't been too much offensive output there. So the pitching staff, I guess, look, you could look at 2024, and I kind of did. Was that a fluke? And I guess it isn't. Like, that's an incredible stat right there. 26 of the 32 games you've played, your starters have allowed 3 runs or fewer. That means you're in every game, or you should be in every game. And then, this series in particular, the Rays were 1 for 18 with runners in scoring position. So I guess you could look at that either way. Rays didn't hit, or the Royals pitched good. I think both are correct.
Yeah.
Great analysis.
No, the Rays, that's kind of what I was trying to allude to. I think the Rays are banking on good pitching and then 1 or 2 offensive performances. I think the Royals are doing the same with slightly better pitching, and they have Bobby Witt Jr. And Vinny P, our guy, gets 1 in this series. I know we daydreamed this before. Hey, Lars Nootbaar, do you even have to move? I mean, Kansas City Royal? I don't know. Just something that popped into my head. It feels like they've been looking for some outfield solutions for a while. As of now, 9 out of 10 is one of the better streaks we've seen to start this season. Michael Lorenzen just feels like he has an all-star first half every year or so. Well, you raised your hand.
He's so jacked, by the way. Love that. Okay, let's talk Bobby Witt. 22 games.
Oh.
What does it get to?
You want to dance, huh?
What does it get to, Jake? Whit Merrifield has 31.
That's the 31. Record? Let's get there. Like, I see no reason why
so
not.
Too, right?
Dude, this is so dumb, and you and I like making fun of ourselves sometimes, but I literally had a moment on the train this morning. I was like, dude, Bobby Witt. Dude, he's kind of getting ruined by Judge right now. I'll just be honest. Because, dude, you're going on Baseball Today, and is he the best right-handed hitter ever? Let's say Judge doesn't exist right now. I think we're opening with a lot more Bobby Witt. I think, like, what this guy is doing, dude, the play he made in the hole in this series is filth. Like, shortstops aren't normally that big and that fast. Like, we get obsessed with Ellie's tools. This guy basically has all of the same ones. And he's done it. He's had a 9-WAR year, and he's going to do it again.
I think you're right. I think you're right about Judge being alive. I mean, we haven't even talked about the month that guy has had. It's insane. The past calendar year, those numbers that people are talking about are insane what he's doing. So yeah, I mean, look, as good as Bobby Witt has been, he hasn't been as good as Aaron Judge. So yeah, I guess that makes sense. But no, he's so much fun to watch. And I do think it's only right that he has the club record for hit streak, right? Like that just makes sense. Bobby Witt Jr. should have it because he can beat you in so many different ways. He can pump you for a homer. He can leg out an infield single. Like he has a lot more opportunities to get those hits. And here's the play you're talking about.
That's Caballero.
Nice stretch by Vinny. Attaboy.
That's Caballero running, and it's not one of those short. I know sometimes there's, you've taught us, Trev, that use the bounce throw. You have it. He don't need it.
Yeah, he had to get up and throw it there. I think that's the most impressive thing about that play is getting up and getting your feet set and be able to fire a strike over there, which he did. And yeah, he does that. He can go to his backhand side with the best of them, and that's to a shortstop. Those plays are the toughest. Obviously, longest throw. I always say the toughest ground ball is the backhand you have to come in on. You're kind of like in cahoots with the third baseman. That's a hard throw to get your footing. But Bobby Witt he's got all the tricks, man. All the tools in the bag.
Let's get some sticks, KC. Get some sticks. Let's see. We'll keep it central because that's what America wants to talk about. And Trev, your Twins, it felt like maybe the light bulb was coming on, and we've won a couple games, a blowout win, and then they get guard dogged the rest of the way.
I tried to sum this up best with Chris Rose because we talked about this together. His guards, he's always so negative about them because he's a Cleveland sports fan. That's what he tells me. He's like, he's just callous. Everything's going to go wrong. I said, dude, the Guardians are the opposite of that. They always find ways to win baseball games. And the Twins don't. They find ways to lose baseball games. Over the last year, that's what they've done. That's the difference between these two teams right now. I believe it's 12 straight one-run losses to the Cleveland Guardians. Every loss that they've had over the last whatever it is, 2 years, has been a one-run loss. And that's just because Cleveland, that's what they do. Like they're not going to outslug you really. Every once in a while, Ramirez will have a crazy game, but typically like the bullpen keeps them in games. Their starting pitching will do enough to keep them in games. And then they're just so used to playing in those games that they know how to win. And other teams don't. Like the Twins don't know how to win those games right now. And the Guardians do. I mean, that's the difference in these two teams. Like talent-wise, I still think the Twins are better. But just, I don't know if it's an organizational thing or just the fact that they've played in a lot of these close games where you feel comfortable with it. Like the Guardians find ways to win those games, and that's why they consistently put up 88 to 92 wins. Like that's just what they do.
Trev, I know you kind of hate this because they're your first employer, but if the Yankees are facing the Twins in a playoff series, Yankee fans walk a little taller and talk that shit because they've dominated the Twins. The Guardians, that stat you're referencing, 12 consecutive one-run games at Progressive Field. So that's something, the Jimmies and the Joes have changed a little bit. But that keeps happening. That if you're Cleveland, you're playing pretty free and easy. And maybe the other difference is literally Jose Ramirez, who 250 homers, 250 stolen bases, first Cleveland player to do that, the only active big leaguer to do that. He's just constant.
No, we talk about how good he is. And for a third baseman, I believe he's the first primary third baseman to do that. So, play third base, you kind of have to be a bigger guy. You're supposed to hit for power. It's the hot corner. You have to have a good arm. Like he plays it in such a different way. And those stolen bases, he's not like the fastest guy. He's just like a good base runner too. Even the way he runs, I think, is hilarious. But like he just knows when to steal, how to steal, gets good jumps. At third base, he gets good reads off the ball. Doesn't have the strongest arm, but he's got a strong enough arm. Doesn't have the best range, but he positions himself and anticipates well. Like he's he's like legit a ball player, which I love.
Yeah,
Like he's right there. That's essentially a pitch out, but get a great jump, good lead. He's a ball player, man. He's like an old school, like exactly what you want. I want 9 of those guys, obviously, but he's surpassed that.
he's yeah, we were debating. Me and Trev were laughing because we're talking about who should we do for standout and stuff like that. And we're like, man, if we do Jose Ramirez, it's just the same conversation. Like, yeah, he's really, really good at baseball.
Really good.
Which again, maybe that's not the analysis I think some people come here for. Maybe it is. Twins. Yikes. Let's see what changes with them.
Royce Lewis is coming back in the homestand. Let's go.
That's huge. But I'd say the maybe the bigger problem is like, okay, the Guardians look like the Guardians. The Royals recently have looked like a good version of the Royals. Either way, 17 and 15. And meanwhile, that's all behind the Detroit Tigers, who you're my standings guy, but best record in the AL. They do have a setback in this series as Houston been playing a better brand of baseball. Jeremy Pena moves up the lineup to the leadoff spot. They move Altuve down the 2-hole because he said he didn't like leading off coming in from left field. So it's easy to crack a smile about that, but also there's something to it.
2 minutes, people. 2 minutes from the third out of the inning. He has to run those little legs. That's a lot of steps. Be back to the dugout. Got to put the gloves on. Got to put the arm guard on. I get it. I get it. And Pena's done a good job getting on base a little bit better this year, so they can put him in the leadoff spot. I like it for Jose. Hey, guys, I'm tired. It's a long run. I've never done this before. I think that's that's fine.
It is. I laughed when I first read it. I did the flash the eyelids meme, whatever that is. And then I was like, well, you know what? It's good to be a Hall of Famer sometimes. Because imagine being a kid who just got called up and being like, hey, Skip, I can't.
I'm a little tired here.
I can't do the whole leadoff thing. You might have to slide me down.
Imagine if somebody on the Brewers did that to Pat Murphy.
Oh, God. Not right now.
Not right now.
You'd be on the bus. I guess anything more on the Astros. Again, Tigers have been great. We've talked about how good their pitching is. We gave Javi some love. I guess the story more so here is Houston, who won the series and feels like they've been winning a lot of series recently.
Yeah, I mean, the first game they scored 8 unanswered runs. They were down 3-0, and then just took the lead there. Game 2, they scored 3 runs in the 6th, 3 runs in the 7th, all with 2 outs to take the lead. So those are 2 really nice kind of, I guess, come from behind victories. Look, the Houston Astros are still they're still that guy. Christian Walker has been really good as of late. I think that's the biggest thing. If he is who he has been for them offensively, like they're going to be right there. And they had, you get a chance to sweep going into game 3, feeling good, but then Javi Baez, who's been a huge reason why Detroit is doing what they're doing. I mean, the guy, I know this doesn't exist, hit a homer last night in Anaheim and also robbed the homer in Anaheim last night. So he's like, I think you have to. I was talking to somebody about Javi Baez, and I'm like, he kind of like hit rock bottom last year.
Yeah.
Like he's as rock bottom as you can get with that kind of money. But like, you're not playing well. You get, moved off your position essentially. And you have more years there. Like sometimes you just got to figure things out. And, going and playing center field, maybe that's like a new challenge for him. So it's like he's feeling, I guess, feeling challenged. And maybe that brought something out in him. And obviously the play of the rest of his teammates, he wants to be a part of this winning culture that they've done. And my gosh, like that, what a huge boost that is. If you get a guy like Javi, and he doesn't have to do what he did in April. I mean, he doesn't have to be that guy. He just has to give you quality at bats again. And that's like a very low bar for him. But he looks like old school Javi Baez right now at the plate. Like he's not flailing at all these pitches. He's taking better at bats. His swing looks more aggressive. Like there was times last year where Javi Baez, who takes some of the biggest hacks in the game, looked like passive with it, and he doesn't look that way anymore. So good for him, man.
Sometimes we before the season, we do the team profile and projections, and it's a daunting task. So much stuff can happen in a baseball season. Your Tigers, who have been amazing, their top 3 position players in WAR, that would be Zach McKinstry, Javi Baez, and Spencer Torkelson. So
don't look like I did the award on them last year.
Yeah, I know.
Or last episode, excuse me. Like, you could not project what's happened in Detroit offensively. So all these pundits, which I'm going to get into later, by the way, it was obvious the Tigers were going to run away with this. Like, really?
Right.
Like, were they going to, like, do you know what they did last year? They were crap until August, and then they just won every single game because they decided the pitch have their bullpen chaos. And I don't know, man. I had the Tigers outside of the playoffs this year, and it's making me look like an idiot. So maybe that's why I'm mad right now.
Maybe you are. A team that you and I were already starting to walk tall about, the Texas Rangers, because they were winning games, and again, the record's fine, but they're actually 4th in the West right now, 500, and they have such a bad case of the not hits. And I do want to give credit to the Athletics, who jumped them in the standings, 17-15 out of them. But it feels like, I don't know, they feel like a baseball team. They could get contributions from one night from their hitting, one night from their pitching, whatever it is. Texas Rangers do not have, I mentioned the gray cloud of baseball before. Right now, their hitting has a gray cloud that Bochy's talking about. They had a team meeting. Like, it's getting crazy.
Yeah, this is a huge series for Oakland, and talking about Kotsay, we're talking about the Guardians in one-run games and that level of comfortability that you get when you play in them. Kotsay's quote, there's a lot of confidence in that room right now. They're recognizing how to win these games, talking about one-run games. That's the maturity, that's the growth we've been waiting for and looking for. Like, this team, yeah, like they're getting like a taste for blood, taste for dubs, and they're young and they expect to win. Like, that's how the A's play right now. They expect to win. It's awesome. And they got 3 great pitching outings by Sierra Springs and Severino in this. Obviously, the one blow-up game that they gave 15 runs. And they've gone 5-2 against the Rangers in the last 10 days, man. So that's one way to kind of like assert some dominance in that division over a division rival. For the Rangers, yeah, the hitting has been brutal. 2 for 22 with runners in scoring position in those 3 losses, Jake.
The A's, man, I don't hang around. Nope, not a lot of favorites in the American League right now. Hang around, and you're right. The 5-2 against Texas, they look over there. Corey Seager's got a real big contract. Simeon's got a real big contract. DeGront, real big contract. Like, hey, who cares? Roll the ball out there. We can dance with anyone. My God, Jacob Wilson continues elbow with the grand slam to kind of finish off that 3rd game. A's are going to be part of this season more than I thought. I got
that one right. I said they were going to be part of the wild card race come the trade deadline.
There's still a lot of ball to be played, but right now you're looking good. Trev, I think kind of quick hitters to finish this. The Orioles needed a series win against the Yankees, and they get it. Sorry to our guy Gibby, came back at the wrong moment. And then the Red Sox too. They are a team looking for momentum and identity, and it looked like it was happening. They end up losing a series to the Blue Jays, who were starting to get desperate themselves.
I'll go Orioles here. Yeah, the one game they lose, obviously Gibby comes back and just gets shellacked. He'll be better. That's like,
right.
That's not what he's going to be all year. He hasn't had, much of a ramp up to start the year. In game 3, I thought this was a big win for the Orioles. There was a great play by Laureano and Grisham in the top of the 7th. It was a 1 out with a runner on first. Makes a diving catch in the left center field gap. Aaron Judge ends up hitting an RBI single, but that could have, they limited damage.
Right.
That catch limited the damage. Yankees could have ended up winning that game if he doesn't make that catch. And then it's another series loss, and you're like, okay, these Orioles are tough. But to get a series win against the Yankees, they hadn't scored 5 runs in a game since April 19th before that game. They were 3-7 in those games. So, like, is this like a Mariners situation? Like, just score runs and you're going to win. It's kind of like the recipe in baseball. But yeah, I'm happy that the Orioles got that. I want them to be good. I want them to be in the race right now. Like clearly they haven't been playing their best baseball, but hey, maybe this series gets them going a little bit.
Yeah, and Sagano ends up putting up together a nice month, and they just need more pitching. But they need series wins, and Bautista holding on to 2 1-run games, like that's got to feel good for them.
Yeah, no, he looked great. Oh man,
right? He's the velo's down a
he
little bit, but
struck out Judge and Belly in game 1, and they were talking about he's 6'8", 250. Judge is 6'7",
right?
280, whatever the heck they are. That's some big boys right there.
That's a moment like, hey, flashback. Like bring some baseball players from 1960 and show them that, and I think they're just like brains explode. Like that's
bring it back to the 1930s and show them that. Like I've never seen this.
Babe Ruth better than Judge.
Who wins in that fight?
Bautista versus Judgy. I'd lean Judge just because the legs are so thick. Yeah, I'm trying
Judge a little bit better athlete, but I don't know, man.
Yeah, I mean, but he's a mountain of a man. Like the size of his back. I would love to see Judge stand on a mound and see what that looks like, because I think we all might just be like, oh god. Like,
yeah.
I don't even the big boy pitchers aren't just built like that. Man, Bautista's close though.
I do want to give some love to the Jays. First game, Red Sox just feast, and Crochet pitches great. So they get that win. But the Jays, man, they come back in game 2. They're down 6-0 in the bottom of the 6. Santander with a huge homer to tie the game, hanging 2-0 changeup, and then in extras, Hoffman strands the Manfred runner, which is huge for them. Then Alejandro Kirk does his thing in the bottom half there. And then game 3, Vladdy obviously with the huge swing, 3-run homer. Justin Slayton for the Red Sox has been really good. He's had 2 really bad outings, so the numbers don't look good. But other than that, he's been awesome. I thought maybe you think about walking Vladdy in that situation. You're gonna bring up Santander there with the bases loaded, but I think maybe you do that and try to elicit a double play like Santander can do that.
Right.
Interesting. They end up pitching to him. He hits the homer here, and that's a freaking absolute missile. So kind of an interesting series from the Red Sox. Abreu had a bad route on the Bichette ball before that. And if he catches that, it's a different thing. I think they do end up walking Vladdy. But shout out to the Jays for getting the job done, man.
Yeah, I follow a lot of Red Sox people online, and they're very in between with this team right now. They want to see the next step, and they don't know what it is. And yeah, I wonder, can Toronto get some juice again? Because Vladdy didn't have the hottest start. Santander had a horrible start, and
they weren't hitting any homers. Now we're getting some homers.
Some of their non-homer stats are brutal. All right, God, that was a lot of baseball people. We appreciate you, and let's talk about some of the dudes in standout performances. This guy stood out. Where are you going, Trev?
I am going with my guy, Seiya Suzuki of the Chicago Cubs. I watched a post-game interview of his. First of all, he had a couple of really nice games, Tuesday and Thursday. 3 for 4 with a double, a triple, and a homer on Tuesday. And then he goes 2 for 4 with 2 homers on Thursday. So he's been raking. And in his post-game interview, he was talking about coming over to the States and I've heard this from other guys too that have come over from Asia, and specifically Byung-ho Park when he came over from Korea. He said, everybody has power here, like even the small guys. And so Suzuki was like, I've come over, I've been around all these guys with power. I wanted to do my part. He's a career 481 slug guy. He's basically put up like identical numbers his first 3 years in the big leagues. Like his slash line, especially the last 2 years, 2023 and 2024, have been eerily similar. I don't know if you've seen that. 842 OPS in 23, 848 in 2024. This year, Jake, it's 990. And it's because the slug. He's slugging 625 this year, 9 homers on the year. That's almost half of what he usually puts up. He's got a 20 homer year, a 21 homer year. So he's getting a little bit more aggressive with the hacks, possibly had a nicer offseason working on some leg stuff. He's kind of always looked like that, though, so I don't know if that's it. I think he's just being more aggressive in hitters counts, trying to drive the ball, and it hasn't affected anything. Like, the batting average is higher, the on-base percentage has stayed the same, the slug has just gone way up. So, shout out Suzuki and that whole entire Cubs offense, man. They've been great.
Right? There's got to be a ripple effect there between Tucker, PCA. I think the other thing for Seiya, for me, is that, like, remember there's been a couple times that the Cubs have been searching a little bit, and it's like, oh, they actually bench Seiya for a little bit. It felt like last year he finally had that full-blown, like, no, guys, like, I'm a dude. I'm going to be in this lineup every day. Pencil me in for next year. And it looks like that's paying dividends this year. And, yeah, I mean, Trev, when you take out his rookie year, 2022, you're a 27-year-old, first year in the big leagues. Welcome to Chicago. Like, I don't know. I feel like that it's not the easiest transition in life. For the past 3 years now, if you count the 28 games from this season, a 138 OPS plus. Like, that is, we're talking elite. 285, 362, a 498 slug. So that rookie year where you're figuring out a lot of life and baseball, if you take that out, yeah, and I wonder where it lands this year. Because even if it lands at what the past 2 years have been, that's an amazing baseball player. Right now, it feels like there's more, and I don't know if that's more comfortability or just the team as a whole is better. But he looks amazing.
I'm looking at the RBI leaderboard. He's fourth in baseball now with 28 runs driven in. It is a hilarious leaderboard. People who you would not even think would be up there. I'm going to give you guess who's third. It's Teoscar and Judge are tied for first with 32. Who's third, do you think?
God, there is a wild card guy.
You know a guy. You know this guy, but like it's hilarious that he's doing it.
It's not Tommy Edman, is it?
It's Wilmer Flores.
Right, Wilmer.
He's got 29. Okay, Kyle Tucker tied with Suzuki. Pete Alonso tied with Suzuki. You can see those guys doing it. Spencer Torkelson tied for 7th with 26. Geraldo Perdomo has 25. Jorge Polanco has 25. And Nate Lowe. It is like going into the season, this is just a bunch of guys who are having either a bounce back year or a career year. I'm all about it. I love it.
Nate Lowe. You know who could use Nate Lowe? The Texas Rangers. Anyways.
The Kansas City Royals.
Not really. They got Vinny and Salvi.
Put him in the outfield.
Go figure it out, pal.
Jeez.
Figure it out. Okay. That's a great standout, Trev. A lot of Cubbies love. I'm going back to where we started this episode. I'm going to Zach Gallen, who threw 6 innings pitched, 2 hit ball, 1 earned run, 8 Ks against the New York Mets. These Diamondbacks have been hunting for just a little bit more pitching, and Zach Gallen's one of the guys you look at. It's ERA after this start is a 4.93. That's not where he is no matter what's happening. The strikeouts are there, 38.1 innings, 43 strikeouts. Just something funky with Zach's season so far. That beautiful New York City air, which I know when you come out, Trev, you feel it.
Well, I'm vibrant when I come out there.
Sometimes a drink, sometimes something else in the air. Against my Yankees on April 2nd, 6.2, 13 punchies, 0 earned runs. Against the New York Mets, 6 innings pitched, 1 earned run, 8 strikeouts. Easily his 2 best starts of the year. And with the Diamondbacks, the whole discussion, a huge series win for them against the Mets. If they can get the starting rotation wagon going, Corbin Burns with his first win as a Snake, Zach Gallen with his best start in over a month. Like, they got to start getting pass the torch that, Brandon Pfaadt kind of the only one fully pulling his weight in the rotation. If they can start passing the baton in the rotation, we're going to look up at some point and see Diamondbacks W7. Unfortunately, at Philly, and then they host the Mets and the Dodgers. So they might just have to keep the skis up for a little bit, because that is brutal. But Ketel Marte's coming back. That
What does the skis up mean? What does that mean?
You just don't want to get your skis stuck in the water or the powder because then you're going down.
Yeah. I skied powder for the first time
You
on
did-
accident. I just like went down a wrong trail. I had
Yeah.
to go through the trees. That was crazy. Zach Gallen, three quality starts out of 7, but the other ones have been pretty bad. Like
Yeah.
I was looking like, did he have a blow up start? You know, and that's why his numbers aren't looking so great. No, he's just kind of been really, really inconsistent, man. There was a stretch there, you know, against Baltimore, against the Cubs, then against Atlanta wasn't too good. The Cubs have really got him this year, which is interesting. I think he'll figure it out because that's just the kind of guy he is. And maybe we'll look back at this April and say, man, like if he didn't have this April, what could the numbers have looked like? Because they do need that. That's been their Achilles heel this so far this year.
Yes. And I think, anytime you get off, that start being in May, you're like, okay, I had a bleh April. I'm about to have a crazy May. There's going to be some more talks about that coming up. Trev, as always, there's a bunch of dudes who balled out. Andy Pajes, Josh Smith, Mason Wynn. Let's see if any of these guys end up on En Fuego.
Dirt nasties on Fuego. That means I'm on fire, baby. Like Waco.
Where's Dirt Nasty? What's
Right.
going on?
Right.
This one's sponsored by Corona. My Corona En Fuego. We're going to start out with our guy Riley Green of the Detroit Tigers.
Yeah.
Man, he's such a fun player to watch. 7 for 12, 2 homers, 3 runs driven in. He had his 4th career multi-homer game, the first since 2024. In September, Dansby Swanson is a stud, 6 for 11, 2 homers, 2 runs driven in. Seiya Suzuki, who we just talked about, he went 5 for 12 in the series with 3 homers. Absolute stud. The legs are looking good. Luis Robert La Pantera, not only did he have a good series offensively, going 5 for 12 with 5 runs driven in, he robbed, I believe it was Rhys Hoskins of a grand slam. They could have got the Brewers on their way to a sweep. If he looks good and ends up getting traded, like when he is good, he's so good. I don't know how else to say it. Like he could help a team. He's been pretty dang inconsistent, but a nice series for Luis Robert there. For the week, we talked about Javi Baez, what he's done. He went 8 for 20 with 2 homers, 8 runs driven in. He ended April almost hitting 300 at 296. Just looks different. Shout out Javi Baez. Ty France, our guy in Minnesota. He's been a bright spot. 12 for 28, 4 doubles, a homer, 6 runs driven in for the week. Rafael Devers, okay, 9 for 25, 3 homers, 3 doubles. Aaron Judge, he shouldn't even be on this list. He needs his own list. The things that guy has been doing, it's been nuts. 11 for 23, 3 homers, 6 runs driven in. Here's his April, Jake. 427, 10 homers for a 1.2. Last year at this point, Jake, remember he struggled in April last year. He did not win a pedal in April last year. He was hitting 197 with 6 homers and a 754 OPS. Oh yeah, he ended up winning the MVP. And oh my gosh, the rest of the season that year was crazy. I can't wait to see what the numbers end up this year for Aaron Judge. I really can't. How about a pitcher? I don't really like to do this, but Graham Ashcraft. What's up, dog? 3 games, 5 innings pitched, 8 Ks, 2 walks, no runs for a .4 whip. He has a .57 ERA, 17 Ks over 15 2/3 this season. Shout out Graham Ashcraft. Been a big reason of why the Reds are over 500. We'll go some more pitchers. We talked about Sugano, what he did against the Yanks. 5 innings pitched, 8 Ks, 1 walk. Has not been a strikeout guy, but he was against the Yankees, so the Yankees stink. Bailey Ober, 7 2/3 innings pitched, 1 earned run. Again, he's been great. He just had 1 bad start to start his year where he had the flu, and he still pitched and got absolutely hammered. The same thing happened last year, but he is a quality start king. My guy, Bailey Ober. Noah Cameron, speaking of the Royals, took a no-hit bid into the bottom of the 7th in his Major League Baseball debut. I don't know if you watched like him pitch at all or saw the highlights. It's nasty.
Yeah. I like the curveball. Like the curveball.
Blake Snell-esque.
Well, easy, but I like the curveball. Some nice
defensive
plays.
You like Blake Snell's curveball?
Some nice defensive plays behind him as well. I like the curveball.
Okay, you like the curveball. Okay, easy on the Blake Snell 2-time Cy Young winner comparison. Sean Burke, you mentioned him against those Brewers. He goes 6 innings pitched, 5 Ks, no earned runs. Jeffrey Springs, 6 innings pitched, 2 hits, 1 walk, no earned runs. Entering the start, he'd allowed 14 first inning runs over his previous 6 starts before Thursday. That's a lot, but he hammered it down, hunkered down against the Rangers, and did a great job for them, and they got the series win. Jake, now it's your turn.
Yeah, I want to give some of those guys more flowers. Graham Ashcraft leaving the rotation, heading to the bullpen, throwing cutter slider right now, and it looks good, man. And hey, go ball out down there, and if that third pitch ever comes, maybe you come back to the rotation. Like I hope in a couple years we're looking more at those like Seth Lugo examples and things of that nature. But hey, if you can go dominate in the bullpen, why not, pal? And yeah, the Judge stuff, man. It's in 400, Trev. Like, when does Judge 400 talk start? Like, when would you actually, does he have to get through May and be high 390s, 400?
When were we talking about it with Luis Ariz?
It's a good question.
I feel like that was like in June he was still hitting 400.
400 watch. If I Google that, let's see what comes up. Yeah, June.
Yeah.
June. Okay.
I mean, it's not going to happen. I love him. Like,
Whoa.
400 is just insane. I'm curious. Yeah, I don't know. Just like, where can he go? Like, what's like the top level? Like, he has 3 WAR through April.
Trev, the gods and odds and everything would say you're right. Just don't bet against this guy. He's gotten better. Sneakily, he's gotten better every year. Like I know the stats don't exactly say that, but you know, we're deep in Yankees world that there was a while and like, dude, Smoltz used to kill him on the broadcast. The slider away really gets this guy. And it's like, yeah, and every other hitter that's ever played baseball, Smoltzy, thanks. But Judge actually made a conscientious effort that he's like, this pitch will not beat me. Then there was one year that I think it was all splitters and changeups was like his weakness. So he came back the next year and got rid of it. Trev, last year, just a slow start out of the gate that he had. I think he had a rib thing coming out of spring and I don't know, it's baseball, that stuff does happen. Trev, if you gave him this April in last year's stats, you're looking at literally unrealistic numbers. And his numbers for a lot of guys are unrealistic.
Well, you can do that, right? You can take the last 365 for him.
Yes.
And it's crazy.
Yes. He clearly made a conscious effort to become a better contact hitter. And he's hitting 427 right now. So is he going to hit 400? I think if I had to bet money on it right now, it's obviously no, right? But I don't know, dude. There's not a way to beat this guy. And he hits it so hard. Nice. That felt good to get off my chest a little bit. Feel good. I might go grab
I'm not like, dude, I'm just saying 400 seems so like unapproachable to me. I mean, I guess, yeah, if there is one guy that can do it, it's one of the best hitters to ever play the game. I guess that makes sense.
Something there, right?
Logical.
I might watch him tonight. I might grab a Corona. I might grab 6. And want to know what I love the most about baseball? It's kicking back. Put the day behind you and maybe snag yourself a Corona. From the first day of the season, I remember it like it was yesterday. We were streaming the games. We had a blast. To the All-Star break, where I think we're going to be having some fun with Corona. All the way to the last games. Corona will be with us throughout. Whether you're in the cheap seats on your own private island or where Trev sits, grab a Corona, the official cerveza of Major League Baseball. Grab a lime. Really treat yourself. And enjoy America's favorite pastime with Mexico's favorite present time, excuse me. Get yours. Order Corona.com. 21 plus. Enjoy responsibly. Corona Extra Beer imported by Crown Imports, Chicago, Illinois. Okay. Again, this sneaks up on me every time as I will now do the batters who are struggling. And again, this is in hopes to get them off of the struggle bus. And it starts with Taylor Ward in L.A. 3 for 39. That's an 0.77. Struggling with the breaking pitch. So now that he knows that, now that that's out in the ether, it's done. It's done.
What should he do? She just keep those hands back.
Keep your hands back and, I don't know, take. I don't know. I don't have the answers, Trev. I got to be honest with you. Nolan Gorman, one of the St. Louis player-generated players for a little bit, 5 for 35, 14 strikeouts in his last 41 plate appearances. That's the second highest in the National League. Rocchio. Brian Rocchio, 4 for 28, slugging 0.87. That's slugging 0.87 against lefties this year. Worried about that. Xavier Edwards slapping it around, or not so much. 9 for 53. 9 for 53. Yo, that's a 393 OPS. The hard hit rate in non-two-strike counts is the lowest in the National League. That's bad. J.J. Bleday, struggling against righties this year. What's that about? He was really good for them last year. 149 against right-handed pitching. That's tied for the lowest in the AL. So now that it's been recognized, guys, just go and address it, and we'll never see you on this list again. So that's what's going on with the batters who are struggling. Guys that might have it a little worse. The IL. Our guy Glass now, man. Some right shoulder inflammation. It feels way too often with this guy. Rooting for Tyler as always. Gary Sanchez goes on the IL with some right wrist inflammation. Jordan Westberg, a hammy. Dylan Moore, no! My guy Dylan Moore, right hip inflammation. We hate that. Paul Sewald, right shoulder. Probably going to miss a month or so in that Cleveland bullpen. Chamber Candelario, expected to be a month, if not more. Luke Riley, right oblique. Trev, reach out. Anytime a guy's got an oblique, I need you to reach out to them. Tyler Fitzgerald for the Giants. Rib, 3 weeks. Higgy for the Texas Rangers. Intercostal. You talked about Justin Martinez. Mike Trout. Bone bruise in the left knee. Hate that. Should be a quick trip. Knock on some wood. And right before the show started, Jazz Chisholm for the Yankees. He will be going on the IL. He's got a rib thing that they called something else. God, what were they calling that? I got to look that up quick. Jazz Chisholm rib. Know how every year we get a new pitch? They called it a flank.
Oh, he flanked his rib?
No. Instead of saying he's calling his rib or oblique a flank.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Flank means the side, right? So
yes, he's got a flank injury. So
okay.
We're not fully sure what that means, but he goes on the IL. This is where things start to build. Returning from the IL, we told you Luis Ariz is back for San Diego. Kevin Ginkel, big time for Arizona. Dalton Varsho, might hear even more about that. Lucas Giolito for the Boston Red Sox. Hey, big guy. Bobby Sirocco's friend, Trev's friend. Very tall. Mentioned Gonsolin's back, and I love some Chase Mydroth getting on base for those White Sox. Can we start everyone's weekend?
Awards!
Brought to you by Trevor Plouffe. And the Warehouse Games. Go check them out.
Yeah, go check those out. Playoffs are here.
Playoff.
Teams are having fun. Some of them are. I'm going to go with the You Know Nothing Jon Snow Award.
Right.
If you watch Game of Thrones at all, you understand that Jon Snow is kind of an idiot. Likeable, handsome, hell of a swordsman, but also makes bad decisions throughout the entire series. This isn't just a one-off. I mean, you could name several. I'll give, the Battle of the Bastards, one of the best episodes of television ever. Hey, obviously Ramsay's trying to bait you.
Right.
Why would you run to the middle of the battlefield? Rickon can just do zigzags and not get hit. I don't know, man. You don't have to go get him. That was very stupid of you. We maybe you know how it ended up working out, but go watch if you haven't. Jon Snow is just consistently making bad decisions. Over this week, I saw a lot of people online and even some people on the television who know nothing. And I'm talking about this Dalton Varsho catch. If you haven't seen it, Bobby's pulling it up right now. Check it out.
Check it out. Check it out.
Again, coming off the IL first series, falls. Play that again. He's going back. Remind you, he plays in a dome. It's difficult to see the ball in the dome. Goes back, kind of trips over his own feet on the warning track. Backhands with the side glance, catches that ball. Some people were calling it the catch of the century. I also think those people know nothing. I don't know about that. But the people were saying this is not a good catch because he tripped himself. What are you talking about? This is exactly what athletes do. To be able to recover from something like that is one of the most athletic things you're going to see on a baseball field. And this is Dalton Varsho. By the way, we love this guy. He can play catcher, but also can be one of the best defensive outfielders in the game. Go check out his stats. He does have a Gold Glove. To me, when you're able to control your body like that, and then still have the hand-eye to track that ball into your glove. I mean, fielding a ground ball to your backhand side is difficult. Tracking a ball that goes 395 feet and, has an apex of 120 in the air and being able to fall down and then find it again and then backhand it, that's a tremendous catch, people. And I don't want to hear anybody else say anything differently. Look at that. How can you look at that and say, oh, that's not a good catch? He fell. What? I don't know, man. I saw that. It got me all riled up, and I wanted to give my guy Dalton Varsho some flowers because great series offensively, great series defensively. Maybe that's what the Blue Jays needed, was just a little bit of Dalton Varsho back in the outfield.
Couple big swings in this series too. I love the catch. I obviously he trips and falls, but that happens in sports. Like we're wearing spikes. We're wearing spikes. Not so much, Jakey, but Varsho's wearing spikes, and I've never seen anything like that.
There is another instance of this where people are like, oh my gosh, that wasn't very athletic. It was Ben Revere trying to leg out a triple, and he ends up. I think he used to have these. Oh my gosh, he would wear these Mizuno spikes that I think were too big for him because when you have shoes that are too big and you have to tighten the laces really tight, so the laces end up being crazy, huge floppy bunny ear laces. Ben Revere used to do that. And I'm like, Ben, just get some shoes that fit, dude. But he was so fast. There was one game he was legging out triple. I think he tripped over his laces or something. Here, Bobby's got it. Watch how athletic this is. It looks silly, but watch this.
Oh, yes. I remember that. Yes.
Oh, he fell. How is that athletic? Did you see what happened after he fell? Bobby, way to be Johnny on the spot with that video clip right there.
Wow. Ben Revere.
Do you remember that, right?
Yes. And
Ben Revere was one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet and just a hilarious skill set, dude. But this is too good right here.
Round in second.
Oh, my laces got me.
And just keeps going, man. Yeah, I think a lot of people there would end up crawling a little bit and stumbling. That looked amazing.
He didn't get the love he deserved. I love me some Ben Revere.
I'm glad you love yourself some Ben Revere. Why not? Why not? Fantastic award, Trev. I'm gonna go with the fashionably late award. Something you know a lot about, Coach Trev. You never want to be the first at the party, right? Fashionably late, if you do it right, it's kind of the sweet spot, right? Things are escalating. If you're fashionably late, that means you're looking pretty good, feeling pretty good. For baseball, I wouldn't say it works like that. And I think for me, there was 2 home runs that jumped off the page this week. My guy Max Muncy, 1.0 Max Muncy, Dodgers Max Muncy. He's been in it. You mentioned how the Dodgers feel like they haven't played great baseball or clicked all around or whatever, whether it's the bottom half of the lineup, some weird defensive stuff at times, injuries. Max Muncy left the month without a homer, and that's a bad feeling. That's just a bad feeling. You're Max Muncy. The guy is sneaking up on 200 home runs. OPS the last 2 seasons is highly above 800. Once you've talked about it, Trev, looking at the scoreboard and seeing the numbers is something that front offices and analytics they can't quantify because they can't quantify it. He gets his first home run, and it actually technically was in April, so he ends with 1 home run. Another guy who's had a sneaky, amazing career that's, I don't want to say become an afterthought, but he's got to earn it a little bit. Xander Bogaerts on those San Diego Padres. His homer streak had hit one of those scary levels where you're starting to count games and it becomes more daunting than it is. He gets one on the 29th of April, his first home run of the season. And yeah, I think whether it's tying it to Zach Gallen, who got my standout, a month of baseball can be tough. The first month of the season, who knows if there's injuries or just bad breaks or whatever it is. Getting a 0 off the scoreboard always helps. Muncy, we've seen him get hot. Let's see if his hot streak comes. Bogaerts, it's not a bad first month, really, besides that 0 in the homer column. He's getting on base at a 331 clip. I think he still expects more of himself. I think San Diego fans still expect more of himself. This is a guy with 40 career WAR, by the way. And Bogaerts is 30. He's 32. So, we're talking about Javi Baez's resurgence. For any of these guys, it could be one swing thing. It could be nothing. Baseball can just start happening their way again. Maybe it's confidence. So for everyone who's a little fashionably late at the party, let's come party. Come join us. Let's do it.
No, I mean, look, they to be what these teams want to be, Padres and Dodgers, both those guys have to perform. And we talk about the Dodgers having one of the best rosters ever assembled. That includes Max Muncy hitting down the 7 hole, hitting the way he's supposed to hit. He did have a rough April. And look, it doesn't have to be a homer that gets you going. It can be anything. You might sting a ball to the second baseman lying out and feel something and say, okay, I got it now. But there is a saying in baseball, which I do feel like holds true. Homers come in bunches. So if I was a betting man, I might sprinkle a little bit on those 2 guys over the next week or so, to get it going. I bet the odds will be there. And sometimes you just need to remember how it feels, Jake. I know that you know that. Sometimes you forget how it feels. You need to just remind yourself every once in a while. I'd love for those guys to get it going. That'd be great.
It's, baseball, we try not to be reactionary, but also our guy Joe's McFly calls them 162 one-game seasons. That when that month starts happening, you start looking at who's hot in the minor leagues, or you start, we eyed some trade options this episode. I think we put Newt Barr and Nathaniel Lowe on 2 new teams. All of that could change overnight. If your guy had a rough month, maybe the great one's coming. That's the beauty of baseball. All right, everyone. Enjoy your weekend. Watch some baseball. I think it's going to be rainy in the Northeast. Might be a great weekend to watch some baseball. Watch a little Kentucky Derby and then head back over to baseball.
Oh, yeah. I forgot the Derby's going.
Right.
Okay. Shout out Jason Worth.
Shout out Jason Worth. I just watched the clip. I forget who posted it. I should give them credit, but Jason Worth was talking about his viral men's league home run he hit that looked like it was literally into the lights. It's a pretty good story. It was a pretty good.
That was awesome.
I think they started chirping him, and then big league.